Okay. Go. So we will be recording this session, so the recording has now started. Please note that the previous sessions have already been uploaded to the YouTube site, and I will post a link to the YouTube site in the chat box. So I'll do that just now. So anyone who wants the link to the YouTube site for the recordings, if you just check the chat box, you can copy and paste it if you need it. Okie dokie. So thank you. Please respect the presenters and keep your microphones on mute. We probably have 200 people registered for today. If you have any questions during the presentations, then please type them into the chat box, and I will monitor the chat box and ask the questions of the presenters. So put your questions into the chat box. Thank you. Today we have 3 sessions. Martin Cockerill, the IFAF flag coordinator, is going to give us a short update on flag football. That's going to then be followed by Bill LeMonnier, IFAF coordinator of officials, will be giving a presentation on philosophy. And Marco Sala, the IFAF training officer in Europe, will give an update on future training plans. Okay, so first and foremost, please remember, keep your microphones on mute. And if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box. Thank you. And I will now hand you over to Martin. If you just give me a second, I will change presentations. Martin, who is share screen. Are you there, Martin? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Slideshow from beginning. Okay, just tell me when you want to move on between the pages, Martin, and I'll do so.
Will do. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, as depending on where you are, or good evening. I'm Martin Cockerill. I sit on the officiating group committee responsible for flag football. What I wanted to do was very briefly take you through some bits of information that's happening or has recently happened with flag football. So if you can move on for the first slide, please, David. Okay, there's actually 4 bits. I've slipped another bit in for this. So we're going to talk around World Flag Championships that have just gone. We've got the information on the World 2022 World Games in Alabama this year. There will be a 3rd section just dropped in, which is about the European Championship to be held in 2023. And then a brief note around rules and mechanics updates that will be that process starting this year in preparation for next year. So if you can move on for me, Davey. So in December, we had the World Flag Championships in Israel, in Jerusalem, which ran from the 6th to the 8th of December. We had 22 nations with 39 teams in attendance. There were a number of dropouts very last minute with the Omicron variant hitting. But it was still a very good tournament. We had 32 officials working 8 crews of 4, with Jed Brooks-Lewis, who many of you may know, as supervisor for that event.
Well, that's just probably I was speeding.
Sorry, am I talking too fast?
Slow down.
There's a couple of people got not put their microphones on mute. Can you please put your microphone on mute, please?
So out of that championship, the top 8 ranked men's and women's teams all qualify for the World Games events. The crews worked exceptionally well and had a very long day too, due to weather issues, which meant we had a shortened day 3 and a change of venue. All in we had a 4-hour window to get everything changed. Luckily enough, the Israeli Federation were very good with the Minister of Sport who assisted in that change. Like to move me on, please, Davey. So bringing us on to the World Games in Alabama, Birmingham. As you can see in the men's group, USA, Mexico, Panama, Italy, France, Austria, Denmark, and Germany have all qualified. All teams are attending and have confirmed attendance. And in the women's bracket, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Panama, Japan, France, Italy, and Austria. And again, they have all confirmed their attendance. So looking for a good tournament there. We are looking to select 16 officials to work in crews of 4. Each federation, not just those participating, but all federations have been asked if they would like to submit nominations for game officials to attend. All those interested should email myself directly. My email is there. It's also on the IFAF website somewhere. That's currently looking to take place between the 10th to the 14th. There's 4 days of competition. Countries and officials will be looking to arrive around about the 7th of July. And then everyone would depart on the 15th of July. So if you're interested in getting yourself nominated, speak to your federations and get your CVs submitted to myself for consideration.
There's a question come up in
Yep.
the chat box, Martin. How are the flag officials funded for a tournament?
The federations are responsible for funding the officials. We currently have a fee, which is a fee payable to IFAF, and then IFAF will pay the World Games, which is $120 per day. But it's the federation's responsibility for those fees to be covered. So both travel and the hosting fee, which obviously includes accommodation, transportation, and meals.
Okay, thank you. Next slide, Martin. Yeah.
Yep, please. So as it stands, we've had several federations bid for the hosting rights for the European Championships due next year, because obviously with the pandemic has knocked us all back a couple of years on stuff. I've been informed the winner of the bids will be announced in early spring. So looking forward to that. And from the federation point of view, they nominate the number of officials depending on how many teams they enter. So if they enter just a female team, then they would look to send 2 nominations in for 1 official to be selected. There is always the potential that we actually have more than 1 official for 1 team, depending on the nominations put in. And obviously, if you enter 2 teams, male and female, then we would look for a minimum of 4 nominations for a minimum of 2 to be selected. And as soon as I get information on that, we'll announce that through the usual comms from the officiating committee, and info will go out to the federations around official selection. Would you like to jump on to the next one, David?
You got.
Similar to tackle, the flag rules and mechanics work in a 2-year cycle. We are currently running the 2021 variation of rules and mechanics, which are available on the myafo.org site. And towards the back end of this year, Wolfgang Geyer will look for federations to submit potential rule changes that they would like to be looked at. So if you're involved in the flag in your countries, and when you see the teams and that, just sort of remind them that this year, if they have any wishes to be put forward on for consideration for rules changes, get that done and sent through to Wolfgang. And the same with the mechanics. If they require a tweak or you've got a better mechanic, please submit that to Wolfgang as well, for that to be considered. And then the 2023 version of the rules would look to be issued normally around December, January time, once everything's finished. That's all I have as an update. If anyone has any questions, I can quite happily take a few, depending on how much time Davey gives me.
Yeah, there's no more questions in the chat box. It was really only the one regarding the funding, Martin. So nothing at the moment.
If anyone does have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me direct.
Okay, there is a question just come in now, Martin. What are the plans for the youth flag football European Championships in Europe? Will the championship be held every year or every 2 years?
That I'm unaware of. Looking to talk to head of IFAF Europe on what their plans are for that. But there is another gentleman that normally runs those and did in Italy for them, which I'll reach out to and have a conversation with on what the plan is around that, whether it follows the same cycle. I know there's a look to try and increase the number of competitions at the lower age brackets, but as per usual, it's how that's funded and how that works into the calendar. But there is a drive to reignite the non-adult variations of football, flag football. Okay, thanks, Martin. Okay, there's no more questions in there, Martin. If any other questions do come in, I'll pass them on to you. Okay, another one has just come in. Flag at World Games in accordance with IFAF rules mechanic or some strange US variation? I've been asked to be using the standard rules for the World Games. Yeah, good shout, Vladimir. The rules in effect will be the 2021 current flag rules, IFAF rules, as are the mechanics. There will be a timing change on the play clock and the last 2 minutes because of television constraints, broadcasting constraints. So we're going to shorten the play clock to 20 seconds and the clock will go on the ready with inside the last 2 minutes. But other than that, it's standard straight IFAF rules and mechanics. Okay, thanks very much. Oh, there's another question there, Martin. Are there 2 rule books, IFAF, one with onside snap? I'm not sure what that means, Martin. No, the IFAF, the one with onside snap in it was not taken up. That's not the current rules version. The rules version is as listed. It doesn't have the onside snap. That was not taken up by IFAF at this time. Okay, and Jim Briggs has just posted a link to the flag rules in the chat box. If anyone wants to copy and paste that link, it's in the chat box. Okay, thanks very much, Martin. Appreciate you taking the time to give us an update on flag football. No problem. Thank you. We'll now hand over to Bill LeMonnier, who's going to give us a presentation on philosophy. Thanks, Bill. Over to you.
I appreciate that, Davey. Let me get my screen here ready to go, and we'll be ready. See if I did that. I don't think I did that right. Go back to this screen. I want to share my screen. Now I got to choose the right one. We're not getting it, are we?
We've got your Zoom.
No. We're going to try one more thing, Aaron. Can you see that now? Hello.
Yes, Bill, we can see it now. Did you optimize it for video? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I did that now.
Fine. Yeah, we can see that. Fine.
Is that clear?
Yeah, this is a quarterback pass fumble recovery. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, we got the right video up then. All right. What we're gonna do is, last week, after we went through the presentation on philosophy, game management net, I wanted to, actually give you some video clips here for us to think about, on perception, how we look, how we handle things, how we prepare. And a lot of these situations that are gonna happen in these, I think I have 8 or 9 plays. You don't get a chance to practice these type of plays. You know, you can read about it, you can talk about it with a group of officials, but you don't actually get to go out there and practice it like you do, you know, maybe pass interference or holding or other situations. So these are things that you need to prepare yourself for and do a lot of mental preparation. You know, you need to do a lot of visual imagery of these situations happening. And then how will you react when they actually occur in a game? So let's start to go through some of these. And, you know, if you have questions as it happens, I'll be glad to take them on. Now, this happens to do with clock management at the end of a game. The first thing I want you to look at is, obviously we have a competitive game, 47-41. The team losing has the ball. It's the fourth quarter and there's 7 seconds left. So, I mean, you got to have your thinking caps on. You got to be ready for this. This can't be a surprise to you for what the result of this play might be. And it's fourth down. So, I mean, we've got to hit a line to gain. If the ball's inbounds, out of bounds after the play's over, what's our situation? But let's take a look at this and now see how this crew handles this play. Pass goes to the outside. It's ruled a catch, okay? And that there was a football move. Now we can debate it, whether was it a catch, wasn't a catch, but this has been ruled a catch on the field. So that's what we want to deal with first. So the official here has ruled it a catch. He's got him down and he's got him down in bounds. Now watch his body language. I mean, he's kind of in a panic mode here. And the ball's being tossed in, and the mistake that's made is the game clock gets started. We've got the ball being spotted. The center judge is trying to get out, and obviously game over by what's happened on the game clock. So the point here on this one is that, you know, we showed panic mode. We didn't show comportment. We didn't show confidence. We didn't show that we were ready for this type of a play. You know, they were aware that the team was out of timeouts, and they knew they had to efficiently move the ball in, but not in panic mode like this. And that official taking and winding the clock the way he did to the referee was just totally unnecessary. It was necessary to communicate to the referee about the clock status. Sure it was. But at the same time, the key thing on this was, you know, this part of the game, I want the players to decide the game. Okay. You've got a radio communicate it to the referee and the rest of the crew what the status of the play is. But the key to this one is we don't need to be rushing to start a game clock. This ball was not ready for play. We need to just be efficient at bringing it in. Okay. Do you want to decide the game, or do you want the players to decide the game? You know, when we're early in the game and it's the first quarter, it's the second, third quarter, and time's not critical, or if we have a blowout, I don't care about, you know, how quickly we get the ball down or how quickly we wind the clock. And we're starting to see more and more of it be quick. But at this point in the game, we don't need this type of panic situation by the official. Okay. And another thing would be is, okay, so the center judge is putting this down, and he's probably telling the center, don't snap it till I get out of here. But what's the furthest way? I mean, mechanics say he should go to the offensive backfield. My gut says, in the event that you're going to put this ball and you want the players to decide the game, hey, cut out of there and be a double umpire. Find the quickest, safest place to get out of the way and let the players decide the game. Okay. So again, obviously the offense feels they caught the short end of this stick by how time management was handled. The defense loved it. It's not reviewable by replay. It has to be done by the officials on the field. But how they handled it, and the conferences came out, both conferences, obviously the conference from the losing team came out critical of it, but even the officiating conference that handled this bowl game came out with a statement saying that this was not handled correctly at the end of the game. So, show comportment, show you've done this before today. Again, could have been handled a lot better, and the game was on the line. Nobody will care in a 40-0 game, but in this one here, it obviously was critical. Now, again, this is about presentation and how we're perceived in that. And again, not to pick on any official, but I do have sound on this one. And when we get to the part where an announcement's going to happen, you'll hear the announcement by the referee. And tell me when this announcement, and again, forget who the referee is. When this announcement's over, do you have confidence in the referee or the crew when a play is handled like this? So, right now, no big deal, but we've got a potential block in the back. We've got potential kick catch interference. Flags go from multiple officials. The crew gets together and talks, which is great. I'm all for that. Straighten things out.
Kick catching interference, which is declined, not declined, but the fact that we had a legal block in the back on the receiving team, number 11, neglects against the KCI, the kick catching interference. So there's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the punt, 1st and 10, Wisconsin.
That's a mouthful.
Well said by the announcer. Great job by the crew getting together. For the official that was covering the play for kick catch interference, yeah, it did appear to be kick catch interference. For the official who had the block in the back, great job getting the flag down. Great job getting together and say, hey, the only reason you got kick catch interference is because this guy got blocked in the back. So it is a flag pickup, okay? But that announcement, it was just bumbly, stumbly, make heads or tails of it. Who knows what he was really trying to say. But here's the thing on this. Referees, practice these things, okay? Practice these things. I've done drills at clinics where I've created my own deck of cards with play situations. And this type of play situation will be on it. Where there's a flag down for a block in the back, and then there's a KCI, and we're going to do a flag pickup. How does that get reported to the referee? And then what does the referee do with his announcement? You need to practice these things. Get in front of a mirror, have somebody use their iPad or their telephone and record you doing these announcements, and then watch yourself and see how it sounds, see how it looks. But you got to practice these things. Don't let one surprise you like that, where you end up having a mouthful and then nobody knows what you said, what you had. Totally confusing there. And what that does is, when you have that as a referee, it wasn't your call, but what you've done out there is you've just hurt your whole crew for credibility. Okay. Coaches, players, fans, you can't get that right, or you can't be clear on your announcement. How do we have any confidence in what you do? So practice these situations, practice the announcements that you're going to do for these plays. All right, now here's one here, illegal substitution situation. You see the player running off at the top of the screen. Well, he's still on the field when the ball gets snapped. So we have a potential for a live ball foul for 34 running off the field here. Now, I think while we're freezing it here, if we went around and do a count, let's make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, he might be the 11th player. But anyway, he's running off the field and they flag him for illegal substitution. So now the first down is made.
There's no foul for illegal substitution on the defense. The result of the play is a first down for Ole Miss. It's a good flag pickup. They got together.
Now, here's the issue here. Team A, when this play ended, Team A substituted and the officials didn't recognize it. Okay. Here's a player coming at number 25 coming on the field. Nobody on the or on the officiating crew recognized and acknowledged the substitution and gave Team B the time they needed to react. Okay. So, whose fault was this that we had a flag in the first place? And then the argument from the defensive coach was, hey, wait a second. You didn't give us time to substitute. You didn't give us time to match up to the formation. We might have been able to stop that first down run from happening. So in terms of it, was it illegal substitution? Or do you do a do-over, so to speak, on the play and say there was no play and that? That's a decision you're going to have to make. But the bottom line to it was recognize the substitution and hold up the offense from snapping the ball until the defense has had time to respond. All right, this one came up and it was, in all the years we've had this now about the sliding quarterback, I don't think I've ever in my career actually seen a fake until this type of play occurred. And then some rulings came out about the fake slide. So the quarterback takes off here. He starts to make a move. Oh, did he put the brakes on for a slide back there? Continues to run. And in this particular game, touchdown. So the ruling came out that right there, when that occurred, we'll go back just a hair. Right there where you see the black marks come up from his feet where he faked the slide or anticipated to do the slide. Did he get the defense to stop with that? And the rulings from the NCAA have said that when there's a fake feet first slide, that the officials should kill the play and there'd be no more further advance on the play. So it's an unusual play. But again, have you had that happen to you? Have you seen players fake a slide? You need to prep yourself for that so that when it happens in your game, you can respond accordingly. Don't let it surprise you. But at the time, based on the rule, pretty smart play by number 8, eh? And I think 45, you saw the reaction by 45 on the defense there. That was he stopped because he felt the guy was going to go into a slide and we're not supposed to hit a guy once he slides. So I can understand why the interpretation on this rule was put in. All right, now we have a situation, and again, this had a kind of an implication on for us as officials and for replay in terms of onside kicks. This player comes up, kicks the ball, goes 10 yards, and I believe the kicker even possibly recovered it. Looked pretty good. The kicking team's pretty happy. Replay is going to look at it and they're going to talk about hey, did the ball go 10 yards, or who touched it first, and those types of things. And the thought never went through anybody's mind about, is there the possibility that the kicker actually touched the ball a second time right after the kick? And it's one of those things where the thought has to be going through our minds now. When there's an onside kick, both whether you're a replay official or whether or not you're the on-field officials, in that, yeah, it's important to know who touched it. Did it go 10 yards, all that stuff. But we also need to take, and the center judge or back judge, whoever's administering the ball, better have a good look at this kicker. And as that ball came up, it struck the kicker a second time. So this wasn't caught by replay. This wasn't caught by the on-field officials. However, a coach's challenge right there, hit his foot a second time. You know, the human eye, that's a pretty tough call to make with the human eye. In one breath, this is a play made for replay. But I tell you what, our replay officials now on an onside kick, when they review that play, the first thing they're going back to look at now is the kicker and see if there's the possibility that the ball came up and struck his foot for that touching. But again, this is a play made for replay, but at the same time, us as officials, whoever's keying on that kicker needs to keep an eye on that so that they can possibly make a ruling here. So it comes off the tee, it's a legal kick, and boom, hits his foot as it bounces up. So there's your touching spot. This was challenged by the receiving team for a review, and that's when replay discovered it hit his foot the second time. Again, so on this particular play, not critical at all of the officials. That takes a special eye to see something happen like that. You know, even in slow motion, could be tough to pick up.
Hi, Bill. Just to stop you for a second. There's one question come in that possibly Jim can answer. That's what is IFAF's decision on the fake slide play?
Well, there hasn't been a formal decision, but if there was, I can't believe we wouldn't go with what NCAA are saying.
Okay, so that. Thank you. Back to you, Bill.
All right, thank you, James. On our next one here, this is getting into our philosophy of, you know, when in doubt, how close it is, what's our, you know, mechanics, what are we going to do with this if you have doubt with this play? Is this interception going to result in a touchback, or is it going to result in the ball being at the 1 yard line? And there'll be a couple factors on that. I mean, there might be a definite, like to say, if you know the call, you make the call. But at the same time, we're going to talk about, you know, what if you're not on the goal line? We've got a side judge who's right there on the goal line, so no problem. But if we were working a crew of 5, there's not going to be anybody right there. So did he go down in the end zone? Did he go down in the field of play? Did the ball come out 100% into the field of play? So right now, based on that view, if you're working a crew of 7 and working a crew of 8, you've got somebody right there. You should know the call, make the call. If you have any doubt whatsoever, what should you do with the call? You know, should you make it a touchback, or should you have the greatest eyes in the history of the game and put the ball at the half yard line? You know, again, you know the call, you make the call. But philosophy wise, we want to go touchback on this. So we'll get some more looks here. Now, you know, here's the tough thing too, is they're looking through the backs of 2 players from the side judge position. Can you clearly see the ball? Is the ball 100% outside the goal line and in the field of play? You know, he's down there. Is that the best angle in the world to know if any part of that ball is still touching the white line? Again, greatest eyes in history of the game. These angles, and here we have 4 or 5 looks at this thing. These are not indisputable video evidence angles. make these a touchback. Make these a touchback. You put that ball at the 40-yard line. That's huge. So again, don't try and have the greatest eyes in the history of the game. Now, here's one here that, as a referee, I want you to take charge of and tell me what you might do with this play. We're lining up for a kickoff. And if we count the kicking team, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players out here. I'm sorry, for the receiving team. Okay. And they're technically their team B, aren't they? Huh? But it's a kickoff. So we got 12 players out there. Okay. What should we be doing right now as officials? You know, I mean, the officials for the kicking team, they're not counting the receiving team, but whoever's responsible for counting this here, and even the referee, what should you be doing with this? Should you allow this kickoff to even go? Well, we have this play ready to go here, and now all of a sudden an official comes in. He's doing a double count, and all of a sudden they're going, hey, you got to get somebody off. Okay, good. They're getting somebody off. Whoa, somebody else coming on. Now he went off. So now they do have 11 players out here now, but now the official comes in and decides to throw a flag for illegal substitution on the receiving team. Is this how you want to manage a game? I don't care if that coach is in your ear or not. You don't kick off with 10 players. You don't kick off with 12 players. If you need to take and have we shouldn't even have blown it ready for play. If we saw there were 12 players out there and you're the referee, I'm not blowing this thing ready for play. I'm going to tell you to get the 12th guy off the field. But we are not going to start, and we're not going to flag this. And if you come in and drop a flag on this, I'm going to announce there's no flag for illegal substitution. And there'll be a new 25-second clock. Let's manage a game, you know. And so I'm not happy with how this was handled in terms of it. And I believe the only reason this happened was because a coach got in somebody's ear and prompted this head linesman to throw a flag. So again, kickoff situation, we are not going to take in this. And this remind me of we were doing a preliminary game in Panama a few years ago, Panama and Brazil. And on the third kickoff of the first half, the umpire who was administering the ball came to me after the play and said that if the kicking team from Panama one more time, he had to tell them to get their guys up within 5 yards and have 4 guys minimally on each side of the ball. If they were going to do that again, he was going to flag them for the violation, for a penalty for not being in position properly. And I said, so they weren't in position properly, right? They were either too deep or we had 5 guys or didn't have 4 guys on one side. And he said, yeah. I said, well, then don't put your hand up in the air. Don't signal me to make the ball ready for play. You fix it. That's something you can control. Now, you can't control it once they're running up to the ball if they run to the other side and they don't have 4 players. But prior to it, you can control whether there's 10, 11, or 12 players out there. You can control whether they're within 5 yards. You can control that they minimally have 4 people on each side of the ball. And we should never have a flag for those type of situations because you can fix it. Don't give the ready for play. And he said, well, I'm going to flag it the next time. And I said, well, you can go ahead and flag it, but just remember I have the microphone and the microphone's going to say there's no foul on the play. You know, we have a flag pickup. So, you know, don't try and get over involved in a game when you can fix things out there. Okay. You're not coaching, but just fix them. All right, now similar to one of our earlier plays, this one happened a year or so ago. Again, check your time. You know, we're at fourth quarter, 17 seconds to go. You know, we got a team that's out of timeouts. How are you going to handle this play? Ball snap, thrown to the outside. We have a catch. We have a line judge, gives a good spot and a wind, but puts the ball down at his feet. Why are we putting the ball down at our feet? You know, that we're playing with that football. I don't care if we got 12 footballs. We're playing with that football. It's in the field of play. It's on the ground. Get that ball in. Don't put it down at your feet. Okay. Now the umpire's got the ball. Oh, he goes to throw it to the center judge and he bounces it off a player. Now the center judge is trying to get out of the way and the offense can't get the snap off. So, you know, again, 0-0-0. Who decided the game, the players or the officials? And the mechanics here were just terrible. When this ruling was made, get the ball. The player the player does you a favor, flips you the ball, get that ball to the umpire. And in this situation here, I don't need to relay the ball again as the umpire. Just get the ball, get it in, put it down and get out of there. And again, okay, let's say this went clean to the center judge. Put the ball down and then just take the shortest path out of there. And if that's to the defensive side, go defensive side. Get out of the way, let the players decide the game. Now the question came up and said, well, since we messed this up so bad, should we give them, you know, say that's our fault and give them another play? The answer to that is unfortunately no, okay? When we've mishandled the ball, we've thrown it like that, it's not the defense's fault. They didn't do anything wrong. We did. So this is on us totally, that this play didn't get off. And, you know, we have to live with that one, okay? So again, be thinking about these things. How will you and your crew handle these types of things when in your game? For movement of the ball. Anytime we're spotting the ball, particularly when time is critical, I want you to be efficient. I don't care about this thing about saying, well, the center judge spots the ball. The center judge spots the ball. Baloney. Who's in the best position to spot the ball? And then where can you go to get out of there the quickest? All right. I think Alex last week had this play, and this had doing this past year's national championship game with the quarterback pass fumble and then the recovery. I'm not interested really in spending much time talking about the pass fumble or the recovery. I want to just show you that I think when you watch the body language of these officials, when you watch how they handled this play, this is convincing. Unlike what we've seen in so many of these other videos, okay? We've got decisiveness now. Now you can debate with the referee whether this is a pass or a fumble, but you can't debate on how he sold this. He's got a bag down. He's looking around. Another thing that was critical important is the wing officials and the umpire didn't assume this was a forward pass. I've been in games where this type of a play has happened, and as I'm reaching for a beanbag to flip a beanbag, I've got either one of my wings or the umpire blowing a whistle and signaling incomplete because they thought I had a pass, and they didn't give it that extra second to see what the initial ruling by the referee was. So again, I think the referee sold this great, whether you agree with the call or disagree. And it was just as important that the wing officials laid off their whistles. And now we can get together and we can now talk about, hey, I got a fumble. Do you have a recovery? So now the official, you know, and again, the wing official here not only had to be patient with his whistle, but all of a sudden he had to get back to, hey, now I had to know whether this was a pass or fumble now. Now I got to know whether this guy's inbounds or out of bounds. So I think, again, how the wing official showed his patience, and I think we'll get a look to have him in the view coming up, how he handled himself with his body language was just phenomenal. This convinces people we know what we're doing. Now, the only thing on this play, and I don't know if Alex talked about it or not, because I had to get off the call last week, is that the referee did make an announcement and said that, you know, following the review, if it was determined there was a forward pass, that he would have intentional grounding. I don't know if Alex talked about this, but I would tell you that one of the things that I have to decide as a referee is if this is a pass, I have to determine if that tackle, if that hit altered his throwing motion. And if it altered his throwing motion, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt in terms of not calling intentional grounding. Okay. I mean, all he's got to do is get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. You know, it's obvious no receivers in the area, but if we've got the situation where the hit altered the throw, it may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage because of the hit. Now, if he's totally free with that arm, he's got total control of his throw, then he's responsible for it. But a contact can impact the throw. But again, how that play was handled by the officials, I thought was just solid mechanics that gives credibility to the officials versus some of the things that we saw in previous play situations. So again, you know, we need to buy into the philosophies. We need to buy into mechanics. We need to practice things, especially things that don't occur all the time in practices or in games. We need to go through these things and we need to be prepared for them so that we look like we've done it before. Okay. Don't let people think this is your first game. You know, convince people you've done this once before today. All right, Davey, any more questions?
Yeah, Bill, there was one question. It was about the kickoff earlier on. And the question that is raised, if you only have 3 players on one side of the kicker on a kickoff, would you fix that before the kickoff, or would you just wait to see what happens and then flag it?
I'd fix it before the kickoff.
Right. Okay.
I don't want you to get, if you're the person up there, do not give me a signal that you're ready to play for me to blow it ready for play until you have them set and ready to go. I mean, again, you can't do anything about it once, if they were legal and now they become illegal after the whistle, you can't do anything about it except flag it. But beforehand, no, don't let it go. You know, be preventative.
Okay. I think that was probably the only question there, Bill. I think you answered everything else that came up. So thanks very much, Bill.
No, and I'll get you to also the video. I mean, I know you recorded this, but I'll send you the video so you can put that up. And I'll post it with WeTransfer. But remember, you only get 5 days to download that. And then
yeah, I downloaded the last one right away, so it's already uploaded to the YouTube site. So fine. Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And just finally, we're now going to hand over to Marco Sala, training officer for Europe, who's going to give us an update on training plans. So over to you, Marco. You there, Marco?
Yes, I'm trying to manage this. Okay. So, welcome to everybody. Today we will have a look to our training program, the present program, and what we want to do in the future. As you know, in the last 2 years, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we have been forced to have our clinic online. thanks to the technology, today we have the opportunity to meet all together, but our will is to return to the normal as soon as possible. And for us, normal means a physical clinic. And after the end of this clinic, we will begin to work toward this goal, a physical clinic for next year. This is the first information. Have a look of what is the current situation of the official committee. Now we have on YouTube a channel, IFAF Media. We have around 1,700 followers, and we have two different kind of video: game training tapes and tutorial training tapes. Game training tapes are periodical training tapes from our game, reviewed by Enner, Frank, and their team. The training tape game are IFAF video educational by Frank Christensen. Up to now, we have 110 tapes. What about training tapes? Last week, Einer introduced us with the review process, and the most interesting situation will be proposed to the group to improve. As always, we say that in that video, there is not intention of embarrassing anyone, but we use the mistakes, our mistakes, to avoid them in the future for ourselves and for everyone, of course. And this is very good because, in my opinion, there is a big difference between to read a review and see a review to learn how to manage the mistakes. And for this, I thank you very much, Enner. Game training tape, 110 educational, made by Frank, our coordinator of officials. They cover mainly the most of the rule and mechanics. I think that this video are very important for individual learning as well as for your periodic meetings or pre-game. Often I use them to prepare my game, to be focused on special situation. For example, intentional grounding or roughing the kicker, to have fresh image of in my mind. Bill explained us last week that our mind can train to recognize almost automatically a situation without the need for a long digestion of the situation. If you watch the tape, probably when something happens on the field, you are already ready to a right call without a long thinking. Frank, I want to make a big thank to you because this huge job, in my opinion, Frank is the best example for a training official, or what it means to be a top official. Top official is an official that every day not only improves himself and his performance, but helps all the other officials to grow up. Thank you, Frank. This is what we had now. Where we go. As you probably know, IFAF elected a new board at the end of the year. If IFAF intends in the next year a new management for official, today we will not analyze the process the contents of this document that probably you get it, but only the part that relating to the training IFAF. IFAF tell us that we must guarantee a minimum standard of officiating for the games, but also to give a support to the development of the officials around the world, in all the nations, especially in the new nation. We normally call this to be on the same page. How to do this? We have a lot of different countries, different experience. I think especially to the new countries or the countries where not all the officials speak or understand English perfectly. I think that we are sure that the Federation will translate the rule book or the MOFO in their local language. But for example, we have a lot of video in our channel that probably are not cannot be used easily to all the officials. So my first idea was to ask to the single federation that are in this situation to use our video and translate them in the local language. So I think that if we start from the rookie and to put the rookie on the same page, soon the average of the official will grow up and will help everyone, also the old official, to grow up. And we can have a crew in the same page, on the same page in all the country and on the IFAF game, of course. What we do in Italy is translate and use the Frank video. We translate the first part in Italian, of course, and to leave the English voice because it's useful to learn, but put the subtitles under and put this video on our Facebook page. I think that we had a big result because now we made only four videos, but people like it. You can see that only in four video, we passed from 71 followers to 89. That is almost all the official that we have in Italy. So I hope that the country contact can contact me, and we can explain how to do that, and to help that nation, that country that need help to do this, and help their official to grow up. The other thing that we had are the periodic test that we get from our friend from Australia. We use their database, and also in this year our collaboration will continue. But we want to change a little bit the format, and we bring a little bit more near to the CFO format. So we will have 10 questions every 15 days. What we want to improve is also in the answer, try to explain better the situation. And we hope also that people will have a debate on our forum. So this is what we want to do. I know that not everyone loves tests. I understand, but I want to tell you that our test will be not evaluating. We don't collect notes about the result. Our test is only to get better. So please push your official to participate to the test without stress. No one likes to be tested, but today our tests are only educational. The test it's the reason to open the rule book, refresh the mind, and sometimes clear some aspects that were not clear enough. At the end, when you will like to make a test, can be a bet with ourselves on the rule book, and sometimes it's also funny. For this job, I want to thank Miles and John for the support that they gave and they will give to this project. You see that this year we will have over 130 new questions, and I think that we can have fun with that. Miles and John, hello, thank you. The future. We have 3 dreams. No, I have 3 dreams because one is not enough. The first is not difficult. To have tests on video. That is something nearer to the reality. You see something and you have to react. You can, sure, it's something more nearer to our real life. That when we are on the field, we don't read a question, we watch a play and we have to decide. So I hope that in the future, our test will be mainly on video. The second bill is something to have more frequent clinics. We know a lot of officials in the state. I hope that we can find someone that give us a couple of hours a month to improve, but especially that can teach us the tricks of the referee, the tricks of the umpire, the tricks of the lineman, and the trick of the back judge or a deep official. Someone that bring us in the tricks, because probably the difference between us and the professional official is this: we can read the book, we can study the MOFO, but we cannot have the experience of a professional official. So I hope that Bill and can help us to create a format and to select the clinicians to get that from professionals. The third dream is hard. It's something difficult to make it or to create a mechanic manual video based on MOFO. For every single situation of the match, from the kickoff to the touchdown or punt or score, each official would where it should be from the start of the play to the end, and this point of attention according to the development of the play, according to the MOFO. Probably this is a big work, but it's a dream. This is something I mean. For example, initial key, point of tension. It takes time to do this, and people that works on. For this, we need you. We need the help of every official, not only the officiating committee, of course, but everyone can help, and we will appreciate your help. Thank you very much, and see you on the field as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Was there something else with regards to the future videos that Frank is doing? Marco?
I don't know. I didn't. Frank has to speak now, I suppose. Frank, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm happy to speak now. Thank you, Marco. Yeah, so you know, I'm happy to be able to announce that this coming week we're publishing, or we're uploading the first of around 50 new training tapes on the IFAF Media YouTube channel. They are not like the ones that I made before working with Einar and Bill. They are more basic level for newer officials, where we're taking different crew sizes, different positions, and then we're looking at, okay, on this play, let's take an example. So we've got a run that goes to the outside. So I have a couple of videos, a couple of plays that show a run that goes to the outside. And then we talk about, for example, a wing official. What are the 4 bullets that he or she needs to look at before the snap? And then we show the video, and then we talk about what are the 3 or 4 or 5 bullets that this official needs to look at during the play. And then we finish up with what are the primary dead ball officiating focus areas. What should they be? And then we look at, for example, a wing official, for example, on a 5-man crew. And then we'll have another training tape that looks at the same wing official, the same play, but on a 6-man crew or 7 or an 8-man crew, so that, you know, for newer officials coming up, they can access these training tapes if they are going to work in a new position or in a new crew size, or basically if they just want, you know, something for their position to help them, you know, get a better pre-snap routine, get a better, this is what I need to focus on during the play and after the play, and hopefully, you know, it's not IFAF level, but hopefully it'll help in all our countries with our newer officials. So the first videos will come up this week, hopefully. And like I said, around 50, and they will be uploaded, you know, on a continuous basis over the next month or two.
Okay, thanks very much, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for all your efforts in putting the videos together. Okay, so we've now come to the end. So one question's come in, Frank. Are you going to create a different library for the different crew sizes?
I think, well, you are uploading them, so but I think what I will advise that we do is just make one playlist for these. I call them the bullet training tapes. And then the name of each file will tell you the crew sizes that it's relevant for, the official that it's relevant for, and the play type that it's relevant for. So you should be able to see in the name of the file which ones that you need to look at.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for that, Frank. Okay, we're now coming to the end, and just I've had another question regarding the European Championships, regarding obviously whether Russia will be continuing to participate. IFAF have not made any announcement with regards to Russia and the situation in Ukraine at the moment, so we'll just have to wait, and as soon as we hear anything, we'll let the country contacts know if there's been any changes regarding Russia's participation in the European Championships this year. So I'd just like to close off by thanking all the speakers that we've had over the last 3 Sundays. I'd like to thank Bill and Frank, Einar, Alec, and also Jim for his rules presentation, and Martin Cockerill for the flag rules. And just to thank everyone for attending as well. I hope you've enjoyed the presentations. The remaining presentations will be uploaded to the YouTube site tomorrow. And so if you can share the link with your colleagues and fellow officials, that would be appreciated. And I'll post the links again on the Country Contacts Facebook page, so it can be shared with all the other countries and all your officials. So thanks very much for everyone for coming on, and appreciate you taking the time out on your Sunday to attend the clinic. And hopefully next year we can have an actual face-to-face clinic, which is what we're hoping to do. We're hoping we're well past any implications with regards to COVID-19, and we should be able to have a face-to-face clinic. We will be looking at sending out the bids documentation in the coming months. So if any country is interested in hosting the IFAF clinic, the country contacts will receive the documentation with regards to hosting the clinic. So there's no more questions. So I will close off and just say thank you very much, everyone, for attending again, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you.